I watched a video the other day. It was Baker Mayfield and Cooper Manning. It was a Fox Sports show, doing a sketch and telling a bunch of one-liners and having fun. And it's a comedy video, really, is what it was. And it was really funny. I mean, if you're a fan of Baker Mayfield, and if you understand what the Browns have gone through in the last year and a half this season, it's great. I watched it with my dad. He laughed, and it's a ton of fun. And sadly, the media took this video out of context completely. And the media said that, Baker Mayfield was talking smack about Hugh Jackson, which was one of the jokes in this sketch. But if you watch it in context, it's not bad. It's not a mess. It's not Baker Mayfield doing anything wrong. It's funny. It's like an SNL sketch. And it's a frustrating thing people do is they take things out of context all the time, sound bites and clips. And even some people I know were like, well, he did say that. It's like, yeah, he said it, but it's a joke. And you got to understand that it's a joke. And I will admit the Baker Mayfield, Hugh Jackson thing, it's wearing a little thin on me. Like at some point, Baker Mayfield, you just got to move on. Feels like you're beating a dead horse. But I mean, personally, I'm a huge fan of Baker Mayfield. I love the guy. I love who he is. He really inspires me as not only a broadcaster, but just as a person, the way he carries himself. Baker Mayfield's totally, completely authentic. I like that. I identify with that. Baker Mayfield lives his own life. He doesn't really care what anybody else thinks. He just does things his way. And I value that. I value that authenticity. That's a quality. If you look at my Instagram, it's something I try to emulate. I really love the way he carries himself. And what's cool about the way he carries himself is that it's different from every other quarterback. And, most quarterbacks are really, really boring. And I've always liked that. I always liked, Tom Brady, Drew Brees. They don't have huge personalities, let their play speak for themselves. I always said, especially in the draft process last year, I said, I really like who Sam Darnold is. Quiet, not overly quiet, but he doesn't feel the need to say his mind about stuff. He just plays football, and that's what he does. And most quarterbacks do that. They keep their head down. They're quiet. They go to work. But not Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield staring down Hugh Jackson. He's doing sketch comedy with Cooper Manning. Or I saw him on James Corden's show. He was rubbing his face on an emu. It was hilarious. I have come to love that. And what Baker Mayfield is doing is changing the way that quarterbacks present themselves. He's changing the mold. Because what we've learned from Baker Mayfield is you can work your tail off. You can be a fantastic, great quarterback and still have a personality. You can have fun. You can make jokes. You can be outspoken. You can say your mind and still be a successful quarterback in the NFL. And so in recognizing that, I've decided I want to update one of my takes from 2018. It's one that I'll just get right into it. In June 2018, June 28th, 2018, before the NFL season started, I made a video called Baker Mayfield Streaming Video Games Really Is Not Smart. And I really do think I made a solid argument. I made some really good points in this video. I talked about how, it just needs to be updated. But in the video I said, look, Baker Mayfield's not even a starter yet. I said that broadcasting or streaming video games is not smart because it puts a target on your back. If you fail in Cleveland, you're just going to give people a lot of ammunition to criticize you. And I was afraid that maybe Baker Mayfield was worried about his brand more than playing football. His pictures, he took that tiger picture, doing underwear shoots, streaming video games. And I really do believe that what you do off the field affects you on the field. Your habits matter. So I do legitimately believe I had some good points. But it's nitpicking. You're completely nitpicking apart someone's life. And I've grown increasingly uncomfortable with that. Criticizing Baker Mayfield for streaming video games, especially after he broke the rookie record for touchdown passes in a single season with 27. Now that he seems to have revived the Cleveland Browns franchise, criticizing Baker Mayfield for streaming video games seems silly. And my opinion on that has completely changed. As have I've just, in the last year, I've changed a lot as a person. My beliefs, way of carrying myself, kind of my style. I've become a lot more easygoing. And so a guy streaming Fortnite, who cares? Who cares what Baker Mayfield does for fun in his free time? In fact, he made a good joke. I saw a clip the other day. Baker Mayfield said he was running in Fortnite, and he said, "Man, I hope I'm running faster than I did in Arkansas." And I laughed. It was I in the moment just laughed out loud to myself in my room. It's funny because he ran from cops once and was tackled in Arkansas. It's great. It's self-deprecating. And the more I look at Baker Mayfield, the more I feel like, why nitpick a guy? Why pick apart the things a guy does for fun? And I really look back at that Baker Mayfield video games take, and I think it's one of my worst takes of last year entirely. I mean, it kind of reminds me of that ESPN clown who criticized Deshaun Watson for wearing a purple sweatshirt on the sidelines of the national championship game. It's like, who cares? Who cares? Why are you nitpicking a guy? Why can't players just be who they are? And as my audience grows, people that watch my show and follow me on Instagram have started picking apart my life and picking apart the things I do for fun. And I would be a complete hypocrite if I were still to sit here and go, Baker Mayfield can't stream video games, because who cares? What a guy does for fun in his free time. And I've learned that rest and having fun and enjoying life is actually really valuable. And so as I've evolved and my opinions have changed, I've grown, and I don't know. And really, my approach to creating content has changed. Baker Mayfield, do whatever you want. I think it's funny how we got to let Baker Mayfield be the person he is. Be himself. Strong Opinion Sports is a great name. I'm really proud of it. But not everything's black and white. Not everything is all good or all bad or all right or all wrong. I don't know. Some things are nuanced. And so I really hope that Strong Opinion Sports reflects that. I try to choose topics that are interesting and authentic, and I think it'd be very intellectually dishonest if I didn't say that Baker Mayfield playing video games is not a big deal. And I love the person he's become in the offseason. He's wildly entertaining. He's really fun to listen to. I love his interviews. And I'm a fan of who he is, the way he carries himself. Again, I'll repeat this again. I just think we need to let Baker Mayfield be himself. He's kind of changing the mold on the way quarterbacks are presented, and I think that's fantastic. I think it's wonderful. And I really support the things Baker Mayfield's doing this offseason are fantastic to me. They're funny videos. They're entertaining content. And we need to just let Baker Mayfield be the person that he is. Oh, I hate doing this. It makes me feel uncomfortable. I really don't like self-promotion. It makes me feel like a used car salesman. But I got to do it. So if you don't know, this is my podcast, Strong Opinion Sports. It's my favorite thing in the world. And you can subscribe on iTunes, SoundCloud. You can find it on YouTube. You can find the full entire hour-long podcast on YouTube. You can also find shorter breakout clips like the one you just watched. Please do me a favor. If you like anything I had to say, maybe you hate me and you're mad about something, share this podcast with your friends. Share it on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever you want to do. Help me grow by telling your friends about this show.